Hello guys, this is another video with another of my methods. The reason that I'm showing all of my methods, not your methods apparently, it's because in some cases one method is going to work in one account, another one is going to work in another account, maybe all of them are going to work, but at the end of the day I need you to know all of them in order to start testing them in your accounts and be able to see if they're going to work for you. Like the video if you like the content and subscribe. More is coming now that I have started showing you everything. So I call this the blender method. It's not anything crazy like the crazy method. Now, enough with the jokes. This is a method that you're blending different strategies. First of all, not strategies, maybe features of the video ad, the Facebook ad, sorry. And basically you're using CBO campaigns, dynamic ads, for both of those, link of the descriptions. You can use the crazy method if you want. Crazy method applies everywhere, but you can also use lookalikes with interests together. Okay, so the way that this one is working is this. Sometimes some companies, they have data, okay, they have generated enough data with the efforts that they do, but the problem is that they cannot target efficiently people with their interests. This is where you can actually apply the blender method, because it uses the lookalike audiences, which maybe are going to work, maybe they are not, and it uses the interests, which maybe they are working, maybe not, but it's using them together, okay? So you're having some initial data, let's say a lookalike audience, and then below you're going to add also an interest so that they can going to work together. What is going to happen is this. Facebook first is going to target the lookalike audience, and then it's going to expand to the full potential reach based on the interest that you're going to add. This is helping a lot because in some cases you might have some initial data coming from your lookalike audiences which are working better. In some other cases maybe they're not going to work with lookalikes, but Facebook is going to try to find solution to the interest. I have seen this method working with several accounts. And let's go on my computer just so that I can show you all the technical about it and how you're going to group them together. First of all, before I show you the blender method, which is a very easy thing, I need you to understand that whatever I'm showing you, it's impossible for me to put everything that you need to know about it in just one video. So you need to watch all of my other videos, and I'm going to quote. For this specific method, you need to watch the video CBO vs ABO. You need to watch the video that it's all about the optimization of Facebook ads. You need to watch also the video, you can find the optimization also within the crazy method. You need to watch the video on how to do dynamic creative ads. All of these things are important for you. Also the audience research if you want to find the interest and stuff. In general, try to see all of my master videos, or I don't know, buy my course, I guess. Let me show you how we can use the blender method. First of all, the blender method, it's like the other type of ads that we are doing, but instead of using just interests, we're using also lookalikes. So the video that I have about the dynamic creative and how to create a campaign, it's exactly the way that you're going to do the ads, but you are going to add also a lookalike audience on the top. So the lookalikes are going to be added here, and let me tell you how the method now it's working. For this one, in theory, we're going to use the best lookalikes possible. The way that I have found that is working very well for me is this. I'm using add to cart 1% lookalike, and I'm using also the purchase 1% lookalike. 2 lookalikes and 1 interest below. Now, when you're doing that, you need to understand that it's going to be maybe different for your business or your country. For example, if your country is a smaller country, you need to use a bigger lookalike. This thing has also changed after the iOS changed for United States. So the Blender method, instead of using now 1% for those two, I'm using either 5% add to cart lookalike and 5% purchase lookalike along with the interest, or 10% add to cart and 10% lookalike. Let me show you how it's going to look. Let's take one purchase lookalike for the sake of this test. Let's take the 5% for example, and also the add to cart. Let's take the 5%, and now we can put an interest below, something like fishing, I guess. Come on, fishing. Okay. So you can see that now we have a potential reach of 16.4 to 19.3. Without the fishing, you see, it's exactly the same. So what is happening here is that it's taking the potential reach of the two lookalikes, okay? The two lookalikes are the ones that are going to dictate how many people we're going to target, but you can also put here inside the interest that you want to target, and it's going to find people that they like also fishing within this lookalike audience, which is a closer audience to your targets based on the actions that they have taken into your store. Before the change of the expand button that we now have always for all the audiences they expand, it was necessary for you to use the expand checked in order for the Blender method to work, because without it, it wouldn't work. Now that all the accounts have the expand detailed targeting open, it's something that you don't have to do, and it's going to be done automatically. I need to point out also that if you want to expand this, you can also do this, okay? This button over here is going to help you expand the lookalike to even more audiences, but in order for you to do it, you need to have only one of those and it's going to work. You can also expand your lookalike to finding more people outside of the lookalike audiences. So the Blender method is working like this. It used to be 1% add to cart, 1% purchase. Now lookalike, now you need to use 5% for both or 10% for both, but both of those lookalikes have to be on the top. You need to put your interest below in order to have a better targeting. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying that this is a blueprint that is going to work in all accounts, but I have seen it working in several accounts. And I can also tell you that even if your account is working very well, this is another way for you to put another set of ads which is going to have a differentiated targeting, which means that you can actually scale with that. The only reason that I'm showing you all of these different methods is because I think that by having different tools, you can overcome obstacles when something is not working, or you can use all of them in order to scale your account, because you will have more options and more ideas on how you are going to scale. As I said, a small change is that you should use now 5% or 10% instead of 1%. Don't forget that if you want to learn more about Facebook ads, you can read my book. You can check my courses, links are in the description, and don't forget that you can also follow me on the social media. Like and subscribe if you like the content, it really helps me to continue improving. And also don't forget that if you want something, you can always shoot me with a message, a comment, whatever. I'm replying super fast, at least I try to. And don't forget that until we meet again, be creative and be consistent in the universe and in the metaverse.